Most people think that selling clothes on eBay is all about finding expensive brands. But honestly, that's only a very small part of it. The sellers who are making the most consistent sales usually understand something deeper: how buyers think. Because buyers aren't just shopping for clothing, they're shopping for identity, aesthetic, lifestyle, comfort, nostalgia, and specific looks. And when you understand that, you stop listing clothes like everyone else. Well, my name is LeeMeier, and after making over $100,000 net profit selling used clothes online, I started noticing patterns in what buyers were actually searching for and what was actually selling. And it completely changed the way I source and write listings. So in this video, I'm gonna break down real sold examples and show you how understanding buyer psychology can help you make better sourcing decisions and create listings that get found faster and sell for more money. Let's get into it. The first aesthetic that we're going through is grunge. And the first item that I've got here for you is plaid, or the first item type, I should say, is plaid. These can be really good items to pick up, especially if they're more kind of a earthy color. This one is Quicksilver, and that one's sold for $30. And I am going to be showing you items across a few different platforms, not just all one platform. Next are band tees, and band tees are doing really well, whether it's a mainstream brand like Nirvana, a bigger name brand, or even if it's a smaller brand. And so this is one from Smashing Pumpkins. There's nothing, particularly special about this t-shirt, but because of that grunge keyword that's trending, this one sold for $80. Again, Smashing Pumpkin, and that's on Mercari. Over on Poshmark, the next item type within that grunge aesthetic that we're looking at is destroyed denim. So I've got a pair of Carhartt here, and a lot of resellers would just toss this aside because it looks like garbage. There's, I'm going to see if I can go through some of the pictures here with you, but there's stains, there's holes, all over staining, up and down both legs as well as on the back of the pants. There in the seat, you see there's a hole. There's wear here on that hammer strap. That one's sold for $84. They are using another really good keyword besides just destroyed, and that is thrashed. That is a high profit keyword that I would recommend using for those types of items. Next type of item under that grunge aesthetic is combat boots. And so this is an example of a pair here. This one happens to be from Dr. Martens, but don't overlook other brands that have that same look, even if it's more of an off-brand or lower quality brand. Next are hoodies. Now this is one that is what I would call a no-name brand. It's behind here. This is on Mercari. They do this. It's a little annoying, but it says Citizen Earth. That is the tag. So it's not anything special. They did use a keyword in here, affliction style, which could be considered keyword stuffing depending on, or spamming depending on what platform it is that you're selling on. So be careful when you do use that one. But they did use some other really good keywords in here like grunge and Y2K and skater. And that one sold for $70 for essentially a no-name brand. Next are anything with rips. And again, this is under that grunge aesthetic. This is a top here. This is actually a vintage Bugle Boy, but you can see how that's torn across the bottom there. There's, also basically the whole front of that shirt is one big rip. That one sold for $40 on Poshmark. And then stains. So this is another type of item in that grunge that people seem to be looking for. This is another Carhartt. Whether it's Carhartt or other similar items, it does not necessarily have to be Carhartt. I know I've showed two of those, but with this one, that bleach is good. And there's a really good description written here, very distressed, bleach stains, holes all over, black stains here and there, refer to picture. They said somebody put a lot of work in making it look like this. All you have to do is wear it and enjoy the rewards. That's what it says in the description. So I love that, but it's completely, there's holes. Like, look at those holes. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Like, mega amount of holes, obvious large bleach stains, black stains all over like the listing said, and that one sold for $50. Next are faded sweatshirts or just fading in general. And I have noticed that a lot of items that are marked with the word sun faded are selling. This one just says faded. They're also again using those keywords of thrashed and distressed. This sweatshirt looks like it should be thrown in the garbage. Is it just me? There's the neck. It's like falling apart there at the shoulder. The sleeves look like they're about to fall off, like almost falling off. There's a hole there in the armpit. I'm going to see if I can get a few more close-up pictures of just how bad this is. The whole hem looks like it's falling off. And that one sold for $67. It says, show off your love for the Pittsburgh Steelers with this vintage 90s starter sweatshirt with distressed and faded designs. So really good example of an item that might otherwise be thrown in the garbage. The next aesthetic is Cottagecore. And there's several different types of items that you're going to want to be looking for with this aesthetic. The first type of item are puff sleeves, or I should say the first feature is puff sleeves. And this can go for tops as well as dresses like the one you're looking at here. This is actually a vintage Laura Ashley. And so these can sell for quite a bit if you do come across this. This one sold for $279. And then here's another example of one that sold here. This is just kind of a basic one. It's actually from Old Navy. That one sold for almost $30 plus shipping for that one. Next is floral embroidery. And again, this is under that Cottagecore keyword. This is a really popular feature for these types of items that we're talking about with Cottagecore. This is a button-up shirt here. This one sold for $55 plus shipping. I'm also noticing some really nice details there on those sleeves. And then another example of this embroidery is on this jacket. That one sold for $80. It does also happen to have another good keyword that is being used here with Friends from the TV show. So $80 plus shipping for that one on Mercari. Next are tiered items, whether they're dresses, skirts, or tops. This is a really good keyword and type of item to be looking for when you're sourcing. So this is, the tag is right there. I'm not really sure what that is. It is made in Texas. It is denim, which is another good thing to be looking for. This one sold for $58 on Poshmark. Got another tiered dress here, and it also has that floral pattern, which is really popular when it comes to this aesthetic. This one's actually an Old Navy dress. That one sold for $35. Next is crocheted items. This is more of a fine crochet, small holes there. You do see some embroidery there, the floral embroidery that we just talked about. And that one sold for $50. They're using some other really good keywords here, such as whimsy goth. Something that's really helpful when you're listing is the keyword poster. I'm going to leave a product card over here if you want to go and check that out, but that can help speed up the listing and help you be able to get more money for your items. A couple more examples of crocheted items. We've got a cardigan here. This one sold for $35, and that's a Susan Bristol brand.
Real quick, if you're getting frustrated with seeing your items just sit, or you're not making as much money as you know that you should be, and you're ready to see that turnaround this week, that's exactly why I created the Empowered Reseller. Inside, I show you how to get your items found and turn what you already have into faster sales and higher profits. So instead of guessing, you're turning what you already have into real money, and you're making more money on every item moving forward. Plus, you get support, real help when you need it, and you're not stuck trying to figure it all out on your own. And every month you get a deep dive into a proven clothing niche, so you're never passing by profitable items again. If that sounds like something you'd like, click the link below or head to empoweredreseller.com to see what we're diving into right now and to join us.
Here's a skirt. So you might not typically think of crochet of being in a skirt. You might typically think of it being just cardigans or sweaters or tops. That one sold for $28, and that's just a handmade skirt. Got an one from Express. That's what the tag looks like there. That does look like an older tag. And then this item, really kind of a unique item. That one sold for $66. And then next, similarly related to crochet, is this specific pattern of granny squares. And this trend with those granny squares is really popular right now. This is kind of a no-name brand. At least I have not heard of that one before. It says O&O. That one sold for $40. Again, because those granny squares are trending. So keep your eye out for granny squares. Next type of item within the cottagecore aesthetic are peasant tops. And so the peasant top has a very distinct look to it, usually with a square neckline. This is actually a very good brand, high quality, higher end brand, Doen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right, but that one sold for $125. But don't overlook other brands. This is Victoria's Secret, which is, more of a mainstream brand, definitely an older Victoria's Secret item, a nightgown, and this one sold for $125. That has that same type of peasant neckline. And this is another one, probably not a true peasant neck of what I would call a peasant neck, but this has a similar look with the sleeves and the pattern and just kind of the overall look of the item. That one sold for $27, and that is from Old Navy. It is a 2X, so that definitely does help as well. The next item under that cottagecore aesthetic is button dresses or button skirts. So you can see how that buttons all the way up that dress. Any items that you find like that, whether it's a skirt or a dress, those items are trending. And so this one sold for $30. It is actually a no boundaries, i.e. from Walmart. And it sold for that just because of the look. Next type of item within cottagecore is gingham print. So this is that check kind of print. This is an older item, actually from the 60s. And it is from Montgomery Ward, the department store. That one sold for $50 on Poshmark. Got another vintage gingham. It does not necessarily have to be vintage. Current brands are doing this as well. And this one is sold for $65 on Poshmark, and it's from Sears. So there's the tag there. You can see it says Sears Fashions. So don't overlook those types of department store brands that you might not otherwise think they're, maybe worth your money investing in. Next is patchwork. So this is an example of patchwork here, a pair of overalls that sold. This is made by the seller, or upcycled by the seller, and that one sold for $60. But look for that trend in other items as well. This is an example here of a dress. That one sold for $225. That's what the tag looks like there. Fool, I'm assuming is how you say that. $225 over on Mercari. And another patchwork item here, that one sold for $56. Definitely a unique look. And then a specific type of patchwork has more of that quilted look. So use that in your keywords, whether it's in the title or in the description. This one sold for $84 for this patchwork quilted style jacket. This is actually Alfred Dunner. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on that tag a little bit better, but it's normally a brand you would probably just pass by and not, it keeps jumping on me. You probably would pass by that and not even think about getting that Alfred Dunner tag. So you can see that there. Most of the time that's one to skip, but that one sold for $84. Got another quilted jacket here. This is actually from Orvis. That's a really, solid brand, especially when it comes to their vintage items. If you're looking for more vintage items, by the way, then you're going to want to check out my vintage clothing guide. I'm going to leave a product card over here for you. But this quilted jacket sold for $50.80. All right, number 3 aesthetic is academia. Now, there are keywords for dark academia as well as light academia that just refers to the overall coloring of that. If it's navy blue, dark brown, black, that's going to be dark. Those lighter colors, light academia. And then the first type of item that you're going to be looking for with this aesthetic is tweed. You're gonna see that in multiple items types, whether it's blazers or skirts like the one that you're looking at. This is actually loft, and it is a size 0 petite, so a very small size that normally does not sell well. That brand for me has never been a big seller, but that one did sell for $34, even given that small size. Got another tweed item here, but this one also overlaps with blazers, and this is a big look for the academia aesthetic. And this blazer is just, black and white, and it's got, let me see if I can find a tag there for you, Nanette Lepore. So not a huge, luxury name brand. That one sold for $40. They're also using some other really good keywords in here, such as old money. So $40 plus shipping for that one on eBay. Over on Poshmark, the next type of item within academia are turtlenecks or mock necks like this one. And this is one from Express. This one, and there's that Express tricot tag again. That one sold for $55. Got a Jones of New York here. And again, I'm trying to mix in some, maybe brands that you normally might stay away from. For me, Jones of New York is one of those, but this one sold for $60 because of that look. And then corduroy. So you're going to see this again popping up in a variety of different types of items. This is a blazer here, and a size 0 again. So that's good to see, some small sizes selling, because a lot of times small sizes don't sell. It is, a women's, that's not a men's. It does kind of look like a men's from the picture, but that one sold for $79 for that on Poshmark. Next type of item are sweater vests. And this one is from London Fog. Again, one of those brands that it really just depends on the style of the item. There's what that tag looks like. And that one sold for $33 on eBay. Next are trench coats within academia. This one sold for $85. It does have that plaid lining to it. There's the tag there for you, Newport Harbor, so not any sort of huge name. $85. Got another trench coat here. This one went for $70 over on Mercari. Next are plaids, and in particular, houndstooth. So this is more of a small houndstooth. See if I can zoom in on that there so that you can see the houndstooth right there. And this pair of pants, this one, let me see if I can get a tag on this one. There's the tag right there, Catalina Sportswear. That one sold for $29 plus shipping. Got another blazer here. This is from the Limited, and that one sold for $35. And then this set here, that one sold for $60. Next type of item within academia are pleated skirts, and these can be long as well as short, like this one that you're looking at here. This is from Abercrombie, and it is a size 00. I want to point that out. That one sold for $100. It's also corduroy, so a lot of these different features, they're going to overlap. Here's another pleated skirt. This one is from Hollister, and this one sold, there's the tag there. That one sold for $165 on Mercari. And then one from Abercrombie, and these Abercrombie ones can sell for, close to $200, even $250 for these. That one went for $190 on Mercari. Next are cable knit sweaters. Got this one here. This is a Polo Ralph Lauren. It does have that deep V-neck. This one ended up going on best offer for $120. I'm going to link up here to a video of how you can be able to find how much items went when a best offer was accepted. And then the next type of item within academia are Argyle print, or is Argyle print. This one is from Torrid, and this aesthetic, it's really all about layering and all about those different textures, like the tweed we've talked about, corduroy. And with these sweater vests, this is something that can be layered with a collared shirt underneath. That's why these are popular. That sweater went for $32.99. Got another sweater vest here with that Argyle. This is from Liz Claiborne. That's another brand that you might typically stay away from. Let me see if I can get that tag to load there. So just Liz Claiborne Sport. Nothing special about that that. That one went for $30 plus shipping. Got another one here from a brand that you might normally stay away from, Apartment 9. It is cashmere, so that does help that out as well. It's also got that turtleneck as well as that Argyle print. That one went for $35. Next is the Barbiecore aesthetic, or just Barbie. And this one is really about Barbie's style, and especially those pink colors, especially hot pink, but there are some pastel pink items that are selling as well. This first item, this dress here with those polka dots, this is a brand that I don't recognize. Let me see if I can get down to the tag, City Triangle there. That one went for $32 because of that keyword. And then Worthington. So that is a brand that typically you probably stay away from. This blazer here, the color on these are not the best, but that one went for almost $30 plus shipping. And got another blazer here. This is from Land's End. Again, the color on this, it's very hard to take a picture of. So a lot of sellers do struggle with that. Make sure you check out the light kit that I use. That'll help you. This one went for $40. And then there's one of the light pink. This one, again, they use that Barbiecore. It also has hearts in it, which is typical of Barbie items. That sweater went for $30. And then next to look for with the Barbiecore aesthetic is a peplum hem. This is a dress that has that peplum there around the waist. It's a little bit hard to see here. You can see it on the model there a little bit better. And that one sold for $30 from Zara on Mercari. And here is a blazer. This is from Torrid. You can kind of make out the peplum hem there at the bottom, that pleating at the bottom. That one went for $30 from Torrid. And then a peplum dress over on eBay, and it does have sequins. That's another good thing to look for with the Barbiecore aesthetic. There's the tag there, definitely a vintage tag. That one went for $85 on eBay. The next thing to look for are platform shoes. Now, these are just Crocs. And, nothing special. They just happen to be that nice pink color. Those went for $42. And then look for heels or stilettos. So these are a block heel. Again, the color on this is not good. It looks more red. It does say Barbie pink. And that pair went for $56. Next item to look for with Barbiecore are skirts. And there's a lot of different types of skirts selling, but again, it's really about the color. This is a skirt from Athleta, which these normally, don't sell for over $50, not usually. And so this one did sell for $56. They are using tennis skirt. So that is another good keyword. Tennis prep or tennis core can be another really good keyword to use for this item. Here's another skirt. This is more of a longer pleated skirt. Again, the color on this is very difficult to get pictures with, but that one went for $32. Next is another skirt. This one does have that peplum hem, but I am showing this here because I wanted to point out that glitter is another item to be looking for. Now with this skirt, because it had that glitter as well as that peplum hem, that one went for $56. I do want to point out the brand here is a brand that's called Mustard Seed. This is not particularly a good brand. I'm scrolling through some just random mustard seed items that sold over here on Poshmark, and you're seeing there's items that sold for, $15. We got a dress here that's new with tags. That one went for $9. Sweater new with tags for $8. Another sweater new with tags for $9. Pair of shorts there new with tags, $10. This is not a high dollar brand, but because of that style, that one went for $56. The next type of item to look for with Barbiecore aesthetic or Barbie aesthetic is leather or pleather items. These are a pair of pink pleather jeans. These are from the brand Judy Blue, which is a fairly solid brand when it comes to jeans. And this pair went for $40, which is a little above typical for most of their pants and jeans. This is a leather jacket. This one's actually, I believe, from Wilson Leather, and there are few flaws here. You're seeing Wilson Leather Maxima. That's what it says there on the tag. That one went for $35. Another leather suede, actually, fringe. This is a vintage one made in the USA, definitely for that style, but they also did use Barbie in the keyword. That one sold for $225. Again, the color on that is not the best.